The story begins with a boy named Park Yeon-ho, who has just moved with his mother and sister, Chae-mi, from a small village to the city. It's a new beginning for both of them, and they now have to start fresh at their new schools. Yeon-ho attends an all-boys school, while Chae-mi goes to an all-girls school. Elsewhere in the city, a geeky student named Jin-soo is facing a rough start to his day. He's being confronted by a group of school bullies led by a student named Kita. When they demand his pocket money, Jin-soo refuses. Not taking no for an answer, they forcefully grab his money and even rough him up. Yeon-ho, who happens to be walking by, witnesses the bullying but chooses not to intervene, quietly leaving the scene. Soon after, school begins, and as fate would have it, Yeon-ho finds himself sitting next to none other than Jin-soo. During the break, Kita and his gang approach Jin-soo again, this time threatening him for supposedly reporting them to the school counselor. Jin-soo, however, isn't the one who reported them, but he remains silent under Kita's threats. Kita turns his attention to Yeon-ho, who's nearby, and warns him not to get involved if he wants to stay safe. Yeon-ho, rather than being intimidated, gives Kita a sharp look, which annoys Kita even further. He threatens Yeon-ho once more, but Yeon-ho just smiles back, unfazed. After Kita and his gang leave, Jin-soo warns Yeon-ho to be careful around Kita. At this point, Yeon-ho recalls the name Kita from his past. He soon realizes that Kita was once his friend back in elementary school. It's a strange twist of fate to see him again after all these years. After school, while walking around the city, Yeon-ho stumbles upon a boxing gym. Intrigued, he steps inside, eager to explore. There's no one in the gym at the time, so Yeon-ho takes the opportunity to try out the boxing equipment. A few minutes later, the gym's owner walks in and scolds him for using the gear without permission. Undeterred, Yeon-ho tells the coach that he's interested in signing up for boxing lessons. The coach hands him a registration form, telling him he can start tomorrow. However, Yeon-ho insists on starting right away, eager to begin his training. And so, from that day on, Yeon-ho throws himself into boxing with dedication and passion. That night, Yeon-ho grows worried when his sister, Chae-mi, doesn't come home on time. He calls her, urging her to return, but Chae-mi, who's out enjoying time with her boyfriend at a karaoke club, refuses. Annoyed, Yeon-ho decides to go find her himself. On the way, Yeon-ho runs into Kita and his gang again. They call him over, recognizing him from earlier. When Kita asks for Yeon-ho's name, he realizes that Yeon-ho is his old childhood friend from elementary school. Surprised, Kita invites him for drinks, and they reminisce about their childhood memories. During their conversation, Kita shares that his father has passed away. After catching up for a while, Yeon-ho excuses himself to go find Chae-mi. He eventually tracks her down, still having fun with her boyfriend. He tells her it's time to go home, but Chae-mi snaps at him, upset by his overprotective behavior. The next day, Yeon-ho invites Jin-soo over to his house to help him with his math homework. Despite Jin-soo's explanations, Yeon-ho struggles to understand, and before long, he's starving. They decide to take a break and enjoy some noodles together. As they eat, Jin-soo asks why Yeon-ho is so eager to study math. Yeon-ho tells him that it was his father's wish for him to study hard. From that moment on, their bond grows stronger, and they become close friends. Meanwhile, Kita and his gang are partying at a karaoke bar when they're interrupted by a group of seniors led by Chung-gil, a notorious third-year student. Despite their bravado, Kita and his gang are forced to back down, unwilling to stand up to their seniors. Back at the boxing gym, Yeon-ho watches another student train with the coach. He feels a twinge of jealousy, but it doesn't discourage him. He decides to mimic the moves the coach is teaching the other student, determined to improve on his own. The next day, Kita's gang targets Jin-soo again. This time, Yeon-ho steps in to defend him, and a full-on brawl breaks out in the classroom. Despite being outnumbered, Yeon-ho takes down Kita's gang members one by one with his newfound boxing skills. Kita, witnessing Yeon-ho's fighting prowess, is shocked. He warns Yeon-ho to stay out of his business or else he'll make sure Yeon-ho's school life becomes unbearable. Unfazed, Yeon-ho holds his ground. After Kita leaves, another student, Sang-hoon, compliments Yeon-ho for standing up to the bullies. That same day, Kita scolds his gang for letting themselves get beaten by Yeon-ho. One of his friends suggests they retaliate to regain their honor, but Kita seems hesitant, unsure if it's worth the trouble. On his way home from school, Yeon-ho is approached by Sang-hoon and another student, Hak-soo. They introduce themselves and tell him how impressed they were by his bravery. The three boys head to a food stall together, where they bond over their shared hatred for bullies like Kita. After lunch, Yeon-ho invites Sang-hoon and Hak-soo to the boxing gym. There, Yeon-ho admits that despite his recent victory, he's still scared of Kita. Sang-hoon and Hak-soo reassure him, reminding him that he's stronger than he thinks and capable of standing up to Kita. Meanwhile, Chung-gil, the third-year senior, confronts Kita's gang again, this time because they haven't been making enough money for him. Kita explains that someone reported them to the school, so they've had to lay low, but Chung-gil doesn't care and demands results. Later, Yeon-ho heads to his mother's shop, where he finds her being harassed by a group of rowdy customers. Though he wants to intervene, he remembers his promise to his mother not to fight, so he restrains himself. Instead, he heads back to the boxing gym to vent his frustration through training. After practice, Yeonho runs into Kita's girlfriend, Hye-jin, outside a motel. She's trying to escape from a senior who's harassing her. Though Yeonho witnesses the situation, he chooses not to get involved and walks away. A little later, Hye-jin catches up to him, asking why he didn't help her. Yeonho stays silent and continues on his way home. On the way, he sees another boy yelling at his sister and steps in, punching the boy, only to realize that the boy is Chae-mi's boyfriend. Chae-mi scolds Yeonho for getting involved, telling him to mind his own business. Kita's gang, meanwhile, continues their bullying spree, now forcing one of their victims to steal money from his mother to give to them. At the same time, Sang-hoon and Haksu invite Yeonho to ditch class and smoke in the school's backyard. While smoking, Yeonho asks about a student named Jung-il from Youngjin High School, who has a reputation as a violent bully. Haksu reveals that Jung-il is dating Yeonho's sister, Chae-mi. This surprises the group, and they're impressed when Yeonho casually mentions that he fought with Jung-il the night before for hurting his sister. After school, Hye-jin approaches Yeonho again, asking him to walk her home. As they walk, she invites him to meet some of her friends, but Yeonho declines, uninterested in her offer. Moments later, they run into Kita and his gang. Kita, seeing Hye-jin with Yeonho, makes a point to kiss her in front of everyone, clearly marking his territory. But Yeonho doesn't seem to care and walks away without reacting. The next day at school, Kita hands over some stolen money to Chung-gil, but Chung-gil warns him to be careful of a senior named Sang-kai. On his way home, Yeonho is ambushed by students from Youngjin High School. They're looking for revenge for the fight with Jung-il. Outnumbered, Yeonho struggles to defend himself, but just when things seem bleak, Sang-hoon and Haksu arrive to back him up. Together, they defeat the Youngjin High School students. Since the fight with Youngjin High School, Yeonho has been training even harder at the boxing gym, determined to become stronger. He doesn't miss a single day of practice. One afternoon, Yeonho and his friends head to a convenience store to grab some snacks. While they're enjoying their food, Kita and his gang show up, clearly frustrated by Yeonho's recent popularity. Tensions rise and Sang-hoon tries to defend Yeonho, but Kita retaliates by throwing a drink can at him. Not wanting to escalate the situation, Yeonho leads his friends away from the scene. Later, the group discusses what they should do about Kita, but Yeonho remains quiet, unsure of the best course of action. On his way home, Yeonho runs into Hye-jin again, and she invites him to dinner. Afterward, as he walks her home, Hye-jin suddenly kisses him, confessing that she has feelings for him. Yeonho is left speechless by her unexpected confession. Later that night, Yeonho goes to his mother's shop again, where he sees the same pervert harassing her. This time, he can't hold back. He confronts the man and beats him up, finally putting an end to the harassment. The next day, Sang-hoon and Haksu decide they've had enough of Kita's bullying and, without telling Yeonho, they challenge Kita's gang to a fight. Just before the fight begins, Kita gets a phone call from Hye-jin, who tells him that she wants to break up. Already upset about his personal life, Kita channels his frustration onto Sang-hoon and Haksu, mercilessly beating them. Kita and his gang up on Sang-hoon and Haksu, leaving them bruised and badly injured. When Yeonho hears what happened, he confronts Haksu, asking why they didn't tell him about the fight. Haksu, filled with anger, accuses Yeonho of being scared of Kita. He asks why Yeonho, despite his abilities, refuses to stand up to Kita directly. This hits Yeonho hard, leaving him conflicted. Elsewhere, Kita's gang isn't done with their cruelty. They find Jinsu again and beat him so badly that he ends up hospitalized. Upon hearing this, Yeonho, Sang-hoon, and Haksu rush to the hospital to check on Jinsu. When they see the extent of Jinsu's injuries, his face swollen, his hand broken, it shocks them. But Jinsu, ever resilient, smiles through the pain, trying to reassure them that he's okay. This moment pushes Yeonho to his breaking point. Seeing his friends hurt and knowing Jinsu was brutally beaten, Yeonho's rage boils over. Sang-hoon suggests they seek revenge, and Haksu agrees. They need to take Kita down once and for all. That night, Yeonho, Sang-hoon, and Haksu track down Kita and his gang at their usual hangout spot. The trio challenges Kita and his crew to a fight, and a fierce battle erupts. Yeonho, fueled by his anger and boxing training, fights fiercely, leading his friends to victory. One by one, they take down Kita's gang. After their victory, word spreads around the school that Yeonho and his friends defeated Kita's gang. With this win, Yeonho and his group are no longer seen as victims or underdogs. They become a force to be reckoned with, respected by other students and feared by bullies. However, Kita's defeat doesn't mean the end of their troubles. They soon realize that there's an even bigger threat lurking. Chung-gil, the senior who controls all the school gangs, isn't happy about Kita's loss. Chung-gil, furious at Kita for losing to Yeonho, orders his boys to hunt Yeonho down. One day, Yeonho, Sang-hoon, and Haksu are hanging out behind the school when Jinsu comes running up to them, breathless. He warns them that Chung-gil's gang is looking for them, and it's only a matter of time before they're found. Unfazed, Yeonho and his friends decide to face Chung-gil head-on. During the next few days, tension builds as Chung-gil's men start prowling around the school, looking for Yeonho. But Yeonho isn't hiding. He's training harder at the boxing gym, getting ready for the inevitable confrontation. Finally, the moment arrives. Chung-gil's gang corners Yeonho and his friends after school, demanding that they meet on the rooftop to settle things once and for all. Without hesitation, Yeonho agrees, ready to confront this new challenge. On the rooftop, Chung-gil doesn't want just a fight. He makes a surprising offer. He wants Yeonho to join his gang, seeing him as a valuable asset. However, Yeonho immediately rejects the offer. He has no interest in becoming part of the bullying culture he despises. This rejection doesn't sit well with Chung-gil, who warns Yeonho that he'll regret his decision. As tensions rise, Yeonho and his friends decide it's time to finish this once and for all. They prepare themselves for the inevitable showdown with Chung-gil's gang, knowing it will be their toughest fight yet. Back at the boxing gym, Yeonho trains tirelessly, using boxing as an outlet for his stress and anger. Meanwhile, Sang-hoon comes up with an idea. They should form an anti-bully group at school. This group would help protect weaker students and stop bullying for good. Yeonho loves the idea and agrees to work on it together. Meanwhile, there's a new student at school named Dae Cheon. On his first day, he accidentally bumps into Haksu without apologizing, which irritates Haksu. Ready to start a fight, Haksu is stopped by Yeonho, who doesn't want more unnecessary conflict. One night, a girl named Min Jung tricks an older man out of his money, but the man catches up to her and threatens to hurt her. Yeonho, passing by, steps in and saves her from the man's wrath. Afterward, Min Jung thanks him for his help and tells her friends about the incident, leading to a budding interest in Yeonho. The next day, Min Jung boldly approaches Yeonho and asks him out. Surprised by her forwardness, Yeonho doesn't know how to react, but eventually agrees to date her. Their relationship begins, much to the surprise of Chae-mi, who teases her brother for finally having a girlfriend. However, the conflict with the bullies continues to escalate. Seong-ta, a more powerful senior, replaces Chung-gil and punishes Ki-ta's gang for their failures. He's furious at how Yeonho's group humiliated them and wants revenge. Seong-ta then confronts Yeonho at school. Later, Seong-ta meets Jong-ho, the kid Daechon protected. He presses Jong-ho for the name of the person who helped him. Just then, Daechon walks in, and to everyone's surprise, it's revealed that Dae Cheon and Seong-ta were once friends. In fact, they were in the same gang, but their friendship ended after a violent fight with students from another school left Dae Cheon badly injured. Seong-ta tries to reconnect with Daechon, but it's clear that Daechon has no interest in rekindling their old friendship. He wants nothing to do with the gang life anymore, and Seong-ta takes this as a personal insult. Soon after, Seong-ta's gang follows Daechon, planning to ambush him after school. Unaware of the looming danger, Daechon leaves school alone, but Sang-hoon and his friends spot Seong-ta's gang tailing him. Concerned, they decide to follow, hoping to prevent anything from happening. As feared, Seong-ta and his gang attack Daechon. Although Daechon is able to hold his own against a few of them, the sheer number of attackers overwhelms him. Just when things look dire, Sang-hoon, Haksu, and Jinsu arrive to help. But despite their combined efforts, they are outnumbered, and the group finds themselves in a tough spot. Jinsu, realizing they need more help, manages to escape and runs to find Yeonho. He tells Yeonho that Daechon and the others are being ganged up on. Without hesitation, Yeonho rushes to the scene, determined to protect his friends. When Yeonho arrives, he doesn't waste any time. With a flurry of well-practiced moves, he takes down several of Seong-ta's boys. He faces off with Seong-ta himself, the two engaging in a brutal fight. In the end, Yeonho delivers a powerful blow that brings Seong-ta to his knees, securing a hard-earned victory. With Seong-ta and his gang defeated, Yeonho and his friends finally gain control of the school rooftop, which had long been the domain of Seong-ta's gang. This win solidifies their status as protectors, not just for themselves, but for all students who were once victims of bullying. However, in the final moments of the film, a mysterious figure emerges. A man confronts Seong-ta, scolding him for his failure. It's revealed that Seong-ta isn't the true leader of the gang, there's someone even more powerful behind the scenes. As the screen fades to black, it's clear that although Yeonho and his friends have won the battle, a bigger fight may be on the horizon.